Let's put it that way. Amazing. Hang on, my camera's facing the wrong way. There we go. Look at that. Hi. Okay, I haven't done a live on YouTube before, so forgive me. We're going to make a little spice jar out of cherry. And so maybe people will join me. I don't know. I haven't done this before, so we shall see how this works. I'm running off my phone. I don't have a camera and a laptop in here, so I apologize for the format being the way it is, but it is what it is. And give me just a second here to, I think we're going to start between centers. You got to give me just a second here. I was playing with the buttons and thought, why not go live? So I'm a little underprepared. Let's put it that way. I'm always ready to turn. Truth be told, I should be attending the World Wide Woodturners meeting tonight, but I haven't turned anything of substance in a couple of days, and I really need to get my mind off of the things that my mind are on, so we're going to make a little spice jar. I have bay leaves, but nothing to put them in. Folks. Let's see what we have here. There's our piece of cherry. Has a few radial checks in it, a little cracking, but I'm pretty sure that will all disappear as I turn it around. So that's what I'm going to do first. Untangle my apron. Just being. There we go. Okay, let me get the center finder here. So what we're going to do is in between centers, and we're going to take it round, put a tenon on one end. This is in spindle orientation. So the pretty much, aside from between centers, the most secure way to hold this is with a tenon, because you have your grain running this way, and when you grab it with a tenon, you're actually compressing that grain. So it really leads to a good secure grip. I don't necessarily consider myself an expert. Thank you for joining me. I don't know who you are. I don't know if I can see comments or not. There we go. Oh, RPM Woodworks. Good evening. Good day. Nice to see you. Anyway, so this is not square, but that's fine. Shouldn't be an issue. We're going to get it round. We're going to put a tenon on one end. Probably this end. You see this crack here runs fairly deep here. It's just a surface crack here. And honestly, because of the direction it goes, because cherry trees twist as they grow, so that's why this crack is spiraling. I will have a little bit of it on this end, but I'm going to put my tenon on this end. And I think ultimately with the shape of the piece, the crack's going to be turned completely away. So I'm not really stressed about the crack. So let me get you guys positioned where you can actually see what's happening a little bit better. And again, I apologize for the orientation. I'm running this off of my phone. That's probably dirty. There, you should be able to see most of it. Okay, so I can start with my spindle roughing gouge. I am in spindle orientation and get this to round. I have a step center. And then there's a small step center. I need to get a large one. But it's, for this purpose, is a good, very good center for driving this. And let's get this round. Let's see. Yeah, balanced well, so I'll be able to use higher RPMs. So that's this particular drive center, for whatever reason, spin Jacobs. MT tape. Not quite sure why it does it, but it is what it is. That's the expected. Also, as we all know, would do it. So I'm probably going to have to tighten it once or twice. Yeah, that's annoying. Let's take some sandpaper and take a shot of that and rough it up or something. I'm not real sure. That was that crack. That's also why we wear face shields. That sucker came right at me. But what I was about to say when it decided to go was I'm going to have to guess that I'm going to turn the crack away right about now, and sure enough, there it went. If I'd been smart, I probably would have stopped the lathe and just pulled it off of there. Yeah, that was that crack. So, no, that's that crack. That was another crack. Okay, so I have about a half an inch of the crack here. Almost none of it here. I'm making a spice jar, so it really doesn't have to be wide. So I'm pretty sure I can turn past that. All right, we're around. Yeah, that is almost gone. That's not going to be a problem. Good, not worried about that. Ooh, this is dry. This is dry, Cherry. Very dry. A little dovetail there. We're going to go ahead and flip it around and get it in the chuck. Time to clean and wax my bed, my lathe bed. We'll get to that tomorrow morning before I start turning. So this is my little step center, and like I said, for whatever reason, this one, you can see it actually spins. It spins in here. It doesn't really lock in here. I'm not sure if it's because this is well worn and so it's just not quite exactly the angle. I'm not real sure. It's a pain in the neck, but it's not going to prevent me from using the lathe. Screw in. Pencil back in my pocket. Primary reason I wear an apron, aside from keeping a bulk of the shavings off my clothes, is so I have pencils where I don't lose them. Okay, forgive me. Humidity is very high here in North Carolina. It makes my nose run. I'm in North Carolina. I am in Thomasville, North Carolina. And it's about 63 degrees and about 90% humidity today. It is just soggy. Not hot, but definitely juicy out. Where are you at, man? You're not. Yeah, you're an expert at something. Good evening. Nice to see you, brother. Monchichi woodworker, wood turning. This man's got some beautiful miniatures. Okay, so this is the worst part of this splitting, cracking, but this is also way more wood than I need. So I think the first thing we're going to do is knock that much off of the piece. Tucson, okay. And moving to Cincinnati. Isn't that backwards? Going to Cincinnati in February. Some people ran to Arizona from the cold, not to Ohio into the cold. You notice I'm going a hair wider than the quarter inch of the party tool to help prevent the tool from binding in there. A little further. Gotta love those Laguna quartz. small enough, we're going to go to the pull saw. Because I've already launched a chunk of wood at my face, no need to do it twice. Mayhem, you're an expert at mayhem. Put that in the bucket that I keep my potential glue blocks and jam chucks in. We're going to put another tenon, well, we're going to face off that edge and then put another tenon on it. It's dry. All right, let's see. You want to have a deep slip over. So that's probably where I don't even know why I did it that way. I know better. So my thinking here is I'm going to have a deep recess, and it'll slide over this close. So what I'm doing is looking down at the bedway of the lathe, making sure that my sides here are parallel, and then I'll use my narrow parting tool up here, and we're going to hollow that way for the slip fit. Still going a little wide to prevent binding. And I can't really see, so what I'm going to do is bring this lamp behind and aim it up at myself so that I can see how much further I have to go. Alright, we bring that narrow curve pull saw in again. Getting plenty of heat in there. Alright, so still have a little bit of cracking. Just a little bit. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think the YouTube just decided automatically that I'm going to be looking at it vertical, that I'm going to shoot it vertical since I'm on mobile. I don't have a way to stand my tablet up. I bet you if I could use my tablet, it would probably shoot it in a sideways format. Okay, so I'm looking at this. no, you know what? I still think I'm going to be able to work around those little cracks. I think it's going to be okay. I'm trying not to put any CA glue in this, but if I have to do a little touch-ups, I will. But I need to straighten this out. This is chamfered just a little bit, and I need that to be as square as possible. So we will clean that up. I'm going to angle this edge. Just give this a little bit of shape. I'm not going to get too excited about it. Yet, I want to get the lid on here and get that hollowed and that set before I go too far in the shape of the body of the jar. So, I'm just going to straighten this up a little bit. I love the way Cherry cuts. All right, we're going to pop this off. We're going to put the lid on and get that hollowed. And that will determine where we go from there. Yeah, you know, and that's a good point, and I probably will do that once I get a good fit after I turn the lid. Right now, what I want is a good vacuum fit so that I can turn the lid to its final form, and then once that's done, I'll probably put a little, I know the little dip at the bottom, little relief. Certainly, and this is to hold my bay leaves. We found a nice source of large, like 3 ounces of bay leaves, which is a lot. But it comes in a bag that's not reclosable, and I like to try to keep my spices somewhat fresh, although they're dried leaves, so they're not really fresh. But you know what? Getting ahead of myself. Let me flatten that first. There we go. Good enough. A little wide. There we go. All right, so we're going to sneak up on that a little bit. Hang on, Mr. Tailstock has to go, so I don't jet a hole in my elbow. I'm going to go ahead and take the face shield off because most of my operation is going to be out away from the plane of energy. I'm not going to get too deep right this second. All right, let's see where we're at. Should be actually, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're right outside of where we want to be. So like I said, my intent is to get a good hard jam, finish the top of the lid, take the jam out, take it off the jam, and then make my relief cut. All right, that's a little bit big, not the end of the world. We can tighten it inside. Those pesky fine shavings. Appreciate that. So, like I said, it was just a hair big and not quite. I mean, we're very, very, very close fit. Do a little maintenance. Okay, we're close. Close. Yeah, I think that's going to do me. Once it's deep, it'll hold pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of shape, a little bit of depth to that. All right, let's test the fit. I have a suspicion. Yep. I have to very carefully adjust that. I think I will use my skew, my 1/2 inch skew. Oh, we're very, very close to perfect. Very close. Let's see if I can get a little bit of a friction mark in there. Get that vacuum, which is what I want. All right, we're going to bring the skew in again, very, very, very gingerly. See what we've got. We've got a jam. Okay, I'm going to take it a little bit deeper. I'm going to check and see how. Uh-oh. We may have a really good jam. There it comes. Okay, there we go. All right, let me depth check here. Six of one, half a dozen of the other, bro. Just, it always depends. Recently, my problem has been making my jam too efficient and creating too much, too tight of a fit. Okay, so the center is about the depth I want, so I have to bring the sides out. So I've got a kind of a raised rim. You can't really see it, but I have a raised rim here. I'm just going to take that out to the edge. I can go a little bit deeper because I can go up into that tenon. So I have a slight dome shape to my lid. So that's okay. But that's really about as deep as I get to go here. And I really can't get that close on the edge because I will go through my rim. So that's about it. Boom. And it's actually too tight. It's actually pushing that split open, which shows me that, yes, I am going to have to bring in the CA glue. And I'm going to have to relieve this a tiny bit more. I really didn't want to put glue on this project, but that's okay. Bring it around. Actually, I'm going to leave it loose. I'm going to put glue in it, and I'm going to squeeze it, and then I'm going to come back and cut that again. We'll go Starbond brown. I'm going to take a little bit of myelin cellulose. The CA glue doesn't kind of spread out. If you use it, you're familiar with that staining that you can get from the CA glue. The sanding sealer helps prevent that. Just kind of seal that surface. Now it's loose so that when I put the glue in and I tighten it, it'll squeeze that shut. Give that a minute. Check my message real quick. All right. Nothing urgent. I'm out here turning for my sanity. That message can wait. I guess we're going to use clear. It's time for new CA glue. Use the medium still. A good bit in there. We'll tighten it up. And this will probably take care of my fit issue. I bet you with filling this crack and gluing it, I'm going to be able to take out this little bit of layer here where I had to make it a wee bit smaller. All right, it's almost set. Just about there. When you've got this very, very dry cherry, cracks are, it's just something you can't avoid all the time, so it's good to have some methods to work with them or around them. Starbond, sponsor me. Y'all are expensive when I got to replace you every 3 or 4 months. Okay, so I'm going to actually double check this. Yeah, now I'm way too tight. So I'm going to cheat. I am going to cheat. I am going to turn the lathe in reverse and scrape with my 1/2 inch here. All right, that might be exactly what I need. Look at that. Beautiful. That was what I needed. Except it opened that crack right back up. Starbond, you're failing me. Let's scrape that clear. Well, I guess that answers that question. It's a good thing I have so much more wood. And I guess we're going to have to make it smaller. So let's look at the crack on this one. So right here on this rim, I do not have a crack, but you can see it starting to appear here, and it goes down 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take it, the entire thing back to this thickness, and that should turn the crack away entirely. I will put my face shield back on since that decided it wanted to shoot straight at me. The beard is useful though. I don't know if you caught that or not, but it actually got hung up in my beard and never even touched my face. So let that be a lesson. If you're a wood turner, grow a beard. I kid, he's a joke. All right, so we're going to come back down to this diameter. Okay, clean the end off again. Actually, I'm just going to put a tenon on there because I've lost size. Redesign. Every time something like that happens, it's a redesign opportunity. So, no crack. We have very minor crack. Let me see if I can turn that away. That feels like it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Don't have to worry about that. Where'd you go, Mr. Skew? All right, put another tenon on here. Not gonna be able to get as deep. Oh, come on. Let's get this nice cherry handle I made for this parting tool, and it makes it pretty heavy. Okay. That's pretty straight. Let me give it a little bit of a massage. Half inch. That's not my... What on earth have I done with my ski? There it is. There we go. All right, let's try this again. All right, so we're going to take this width, make extra sure. We're going to try that slip fit again. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Now I got a little bit more depth to play with here. Definitely need to, it's about as deep as it can go, so I might end up taking a hair off of the top of that. Needs to be squared anyway. Okay. A little bit of been working a lot lately. I've been making tapers for extended earlobes. So I've been working very, very small lately. So little adjustments like that feel right. I don't know how better to say it. It just feels like, oh yeah, I got this. Okay, we're gonna sand this real quick. We're gonna start at 220. It's a pretty good finishing. And I'm gonna go to 400. And it really doesn't need to be finer than that. I will be finishing this piece with Brad's Workbench Tongue Honey. It's a thinner version of his tongue wax. It is just a different ratio of pure tongue oil to Carnauba wax and beeswax. I do have to tell you that I am sponsored by Brad's Workbench. He's very gracious to do that. However, whether I was sponsored by him or not, I'd use his products because they're phenomenal. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of a chamfer on this inside edge. I'm just going to soften that. I'm not going to sand this surface because I'm relying on that jam. Come cross grain a little bit. I'm also not going to sand that surface because no matter what I do, I am going to get my abrasive paste, my Brad's Workbench abrasive paste is going to end up on it. So it's going to quote unquote sand it to some degree anyway. All right, now I'm going to raise the grain and clean the grit with some rubbing alcohol. Now you can use water to do this to raise the grain. The reason I don't is because alcohol dries way faster. The other reason I do this is because I just sanded at 220 grit and I'm going to step up to 320 grit. And if I want a really fine finish on this, I don't want to put 220 grit scratches in it while I'm sanding at 320 grit. So I will clean between grits. Is it overkill? Most likely, but I like the finish I get, so I'm going to keep doing it that way. So anyway, like I said, yes, this does swell the grain. I'm going to sand that back at 320. I also sand in both directions because if you think about it, you're sanding the ends, and if you sand one direction, you knock those ends over. If you don't go back in the other direction and take them the other way, all you're doing is just bending them over. Or if you sand them in both directions, you have a better chance of taking them from both. And again, I'm going to kind of keep that little edge, chamfer it just a tiny, tiny bit. Not worried about this edge yet because I think I am going to burn it. Okay. That. Nice. I'm just sanding with the grain, get the little circular marks out. So we're going to clean it again. hit it with 400, and then I'm going to contradict myself. I'm not going to clean it before I use the abrasive paste. And the reason for that is Brad's Workbench uses a, oh, no word's going to block on me, a friable abrasive, meaning that abrasive gets finer and finer the more you work it in. So starting at 400 grit, that abrasive is going to break that 400 grit down to its grit and then break it down more and use it. And I just find that I get a really, really fine finish when I do it that way. A really fine finish. Like I said, I've been turning a bunch of jewelry, and it's incredible how nice it ends up looking. Really beautiful. So the technique works, and I'm sure I'll change my technique 6 more times over the next 3 years, because, you know, that's how it happens. Apologize, I'm getting notifications. So tonight, this is going to be a part 1. We're going to get this lid finished, get it reversed, and mount the lid, and finish the outside of the lid, and we're going to call that a day. It's late in the evening, well, later in the evening than I'm usually online and turning. I just needed to get out of the house, get out of my head. So I will do a second edition of this, where we hollow and finish the body of the urn tomorrow. All right, so that was 400. I'm using automotive 400. I ran out of my standard 400 grit, and I looked all over town. I actually had to have my local family-owned hardware store order 400 grit. There was none. So all I could find was automotive grit at Walmart. It works. It's sandpaper. It makes it smooth. So we do what we need to. All right, like I said, the abrasive paste did get a little bit on that lip. It's not really preventable. So that's going to kind of refine that edge anyway, but I really want as much friction as possible there for the fit of this lid. So I really am not trying to make that as smooth as I can. The Brad's Workbench, you work it in, you start out at slow RPM, that's 350. You can see it's removing material. Come to a clean part of your paper towel, kick up the speed a little. I'm now at 650. Okay, you can see I'm still removing a little bit of material. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but I can. So I'm going to kick it up to 850 and go to a clean section of the paper towel. And I'm going to do that one more time, kick it up to 1,000. Most of the time with this abrasive, Brad's Workbench sanding paste, by the time you're at 1,000 RPM, you are not abrading anymore, and you get a nice, really, listen to this surface. That is a fine surface on wood. And I find that I get that surface on cherry, maple, walnut, it doesn't matter. That is the quality surface I get with Brad's Workbench. Can't complain. All right, I am going to take this down a little for my fit. I think I'm also, rather than jamming it, simply going to turn this lid around and finish it. Because I'm just about perfect to do that. So then we'll fit it over and make sure we blend the lid. Although I kind of have an idea, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be absolutely ideal for what the little shape that I want. In fact, I'm sure of it. So I actually am not going to need a jam chuck at all. I will have a vacuum finish fit, but I'm turning this lid entirely independently, and it's going to, I just came up with the idea in my head, kind of an acorn style shape. I think it's going to look really neat. So, since we're launching things in our head today, we'll get the face shield back on. Probably overkill, but I did bounce something off my face, so. Well, off my beard. All right, coat that corner a little bit more. All right, and like I said, kind of an acorn shape, so I'm going to keep the height of this. And we'll make a little stem. And we'll texture it. So I have this machine on wood. And if I angle it this way, and then angle it the opposite way, I get a crosshatch pattern, which looks a little bit like the top of an acorn. And that's really cool. So I'm only going to sand this at 320 and 400 before I hit it with the abrasive paste so I don't lose my pattern. And I'm going to tighten up that stem just a hair, real light touch here, and just clean this up. I really like that. That's cool. All right, so I have to sand very lightly. In fact, have a good clean cut here. I think I'm just going to go straight to the abrasive paste because I really do not want to lose this grid pattern. And I have a nice, smooth, clean slicing cut here. So for the lid, so that I can maintain this pattern, I'm just going to go straight to the abrasive paste. Normally I would probably sand, but I really don't want to lose this. It's really pretty. I have some gilding wax, but I only have silver and rose gold, and I wish I had some brown gilding wax that I could gild this pattern. That would look really cool to get that worked into the depths of that. Something to take note of. Either that or unicorn spit. Gel stain. That stuff is marvelous. Brilliant colors, very, very vibrant. It finishes very nicely. Unicorn spit, this would be a perfect application for that. Okay, so again, I worked it in. I'm going to start slow and just keep working it in. And you'll see this is going to give me, it seems unforgivable that I'm going straight to abrasive paste, but honestly, when you see the outcome, you will go, oh, okay. you won't be so offended. All right, so you can see that's really taking stuff off. Flip it over, kick the speed up. We're at 583. For this specific use, this is probably about the most appropriate way I could finish this lid. The bottom, the base, that's going to get fully sanded. But the outside of the lid needs to have texture. For it to look the way I want it to be an acorn, quote unquote, I have to do it this way. All right, 775. I'm getting a tiny bit, but really not much. Probably more of just the remainder of the carrier, which is mineral oil, coming out. But we'll hit it one more time at 1,000. Like I said, usually by the time we get to 1,000 RPM, it's done its job. Nice and clean. Good to go. So there is my lid, which is essentially the top of the shell. Let's see if we can get some, it's too much light. There we go. See that nice little grid, fun shape. I'm actually pretty happy with that. And that just slips right over. I'm going to knock the edge off of this, and we'll get, it slips right over. It has a very slight vacuum, which is perfect. That's what I want. So that's going to end tonight's live. We're at 1 hour and 8 minutes. And I will pick this up at some point in time tomorrow. We will finish the box, and then I'll have caught up on my videos for the week. So thank you for joining me. I've got to go bake some brownies and get a shower and try to have a good night's sleep. So thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you coming, and I will get this posted as soon as possible.